we love you guys on YouTube. The stream is back, and they're all happy. We see the regulars, Mentality, My Family, Tyler, MDK1, all these guys. They're back. Dante Wiley. What up, Dante?
You asked me a question about Jordan Poole before the break, but before we get there, did you see the Mad Dog Russo, Willie Mays stuff?
Unfortunately.
Okay. Now, let's take people behind the scenes here. I've had a beef with Mad Dog Russo for quite some time. Now, there's two things. I separate the two, all right? Mad Dog Russo, the Giants fan, who I think is a fraud. Okay, right. That's number one. Then number two, the man who's the pioneer in sports radio. All right? They're two different people to me.
Yeah.
The man who's a pioneer in sports radio paved the way for people like you and me to have jobs like this. Mm-hmm. He created the genre. Mm-hmm. I have tremendous respect for the road that he paved so that a guy like me could come on here and wake up the city that I love every single day. Like, it means something to me. And I look at someone like him as a founding father of the genre. People don't like the style, whatever. That's fine. He's a founding father of sports talk radio. All right? That doesn't mean that he's infallible, and that doesn't mean that you can't criticize him.
Well, it's also, he's part of the reason why people look at sports talk radio a different way these days.
What do you mean?
They look at a lot of sports talk radio cats as just hot take artists and guys who scream into a microphone and don't really know anything because they haven't played a game. He's part of that. He's become part of that.
I think
like
he's
alongside
evolved,
Cullen. Yeah,
I think he's evolved into that. I'm going more to Mike and the Mad Dog and what they created in New York.
Okay.
That's more what I'm getting at. Has he devolved into that? Mm-hmm. I would agree. But to not have respect for what he did is foolish from someone like me, because I look up to guys like that in terms of the road that they paved. Now, Gary Radich had more of an impact on me as a sports broadcaster than, him and the Razor. Like, those are my two guys. And there's plenty others, you know what I'm saying? Damon's one of them as well, Then there's the Giants fan, Chris Russo, the Mad Dog, who everybody would bring on around Giants time, and they'd have him on. And my whole thing was this, and this is very simple, okay? This is my thought on all this. I've been a Giants fan my whole life. I grew up a stone's throw away from Candlestick, all right? You know how much I love baseball. I always thought he was full of crap, that he stayed up till 3 a.m. watching all the games. Dog, you didn't even have satellite back then. They did not even broadcast all the games back then. And he claimed he followed the Giants left and right. No, you didn't. Like, you just didn't. I thought that was fake. And so for him to come out as the voice of Giants fans, that was inauthentic to me. I never bought into that. And he had a great rant. One time. It was a great rant.
It was a great rant.
One of the great all-time rants. One time I want to see my team win, and it's beautiful. But forever, and Covey used to get on me at night, I would destroy him. I'm like, no Giants fan. None of my homies wakes up, what does Mad Dog think of our rotation?
Right.
Like, Mad Dog ain't watching my Giants team.
So what's the beef with Mad Dog this time around?
He came out yesterday, and he was talking about the Willie Mays doc, and basically he alluded on the front end, Willie stiffed him for an autograph when he was a kid. All right, whatever. I don't even know if that's true or not. Whatever. That's his particular prerogative. Then went on to say, Willie's not the greatest baseball player of all time, and it starts referencing all these other players, diminishing the arm, diminishing defensive whatever you want to put it, war or whatever means in center field, saying that defense really doesn't matter, it's about hitting. Right? And then saying he can name 15 other better hitters throughout the history of the game. Lists Honus Wagner as one of the people ahead of Willie Mays, even though he didn't see him play, right? So it's just like, Mad Dog, for you...
So wait. So he basically...
crushed Willie Mays.
Crushed Willie Mays and said he wasn't a top 15 baseball player because he couldn't hit like the rest of the guys he named on the list.
He named Albert Pujols. So let's just put it this way.
Okay.
I love Albert Pujols. He's one of my favorite players of all time. If I walked down the street in any city and I said, Albert Pujols or Willie Mays,
they're going to say Willie Mays.
Thank you.
Well, how could he say that Willie Mays is not a good hitter when he hit 660 home runs?
His career batting average is 300.
Yeah. He had over 3,000 hits.
In one of the hardest to hit ballparks in the history of the game.
Yeah. Excuse me. So Mad Dog basically ripped Willie Mays, and he got a lot of flack for that.
My point is this.
He's had a lot of racial undertones lately, too.
Well, so this is where I find him to be a very complicated character. On one end, I respect what he did for the genre, if you will, right? I respect everything that he did to pave the way. On the other hand, I find him to be completely full of crap. And the longer his career has gone on, the more he's actually exposed himself, and he hasn't figured out the proper way to bow out.
So I'm guessing he won't be on the morning roast anytime soon.
Actually, I'd like to have him on and debate him on this, because I think he's full of crap.
I don't want to deal with that.
Well, that's fine.
He said a lot of bad things. Shut up and dribble, and guys to stay in their lane. I don't want to deal with people like that.
That's fair.
I'm good.
Spadoni, was this not one of my accounts, though, for a long time? I used to destroy Mad Dog at night.
Yeah, you hated him. I didn't get it at first, but now I'm starting to get it.
See?
Yeah,
Remember, everybody said, like, why are you picking on him? And my whole thing was this, like, he's a fake-ass Giants voice. Because people use him like, oh, that's just how Giants fans feel. I remember I argued with him one night about Barry Bonds. I was like, Mad Dog, how can you tell me, a kid who grew up in the Excelsior, what Barry Bonds means to me? Who the hell are you to speak on our community? Well, I watched every single game. I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. It wasn't even on television every single game until the late 90s.
Hornsby, Ty Cobb, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Williams, Ted Williams, Stan Musial, Hank Aaron, Correa. I guess he meant Cabrera, Miguel Cabrera. And Albert Pujols.
I love Miguel Cabrera.
15 better hitters than Willie Mays, and he said he hadn't scratched the surface. So
okay.
Whatever. There's a lot of racial undertones there. I want to move on and forget Mad Dog. We wasted too much time on Mad Dog. He's a nobody. He's nobody here. It's a bad take. It's a bad take.
Agreed.
He's terrible.
One last ball.
I'm not even outraged.
No, but one last ball on this, because I know you love Mike and the Mad Dog for what they represented and what they did.
Yeah, but I've heard Mike is a jerk, and we've seen Russo over the last 3 years expose himself.
Yeah.
As being borderline.
Yeah.
It's got some racial undertones out there. For
sure.
So I don't.
Sorry, it just bugs me.
Yeah.
I can't believe the doc comes out and you're going to crush Willie Mays.
Yeah,
take a lap.
Whatever.
Right.
George of Los Altos. George, let's get back on track here. George, what's happening?
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
I think of the Jordan thing. Remember how excited we all were about the upcoming season and how James Wiseman was finally going to show us what he had, and he was going to be in the second unit, so forth and so on. And I think that's impacted Jordan's game, not having Wiseman there to help set things and give him a safety valve. If he goes to the hole and he gets guarded and he throws a lob and Wiseman gets a dunk. There's no Wiseman now. That's a problem, I believe, for Jordan, number one. Number two, getting called for 3 carries in one game.
Yeah.
I mean, he dribbles one way his whole life. He's into the hezzy and so forth. Now suddenly he's thinking, oh, my God, I got to learn how to dribble all over again.
He got called for one the other night, too, George.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's what I think. But nice catching up, guys.
No, it's a really good point, and I do believe that the carry thing is a little in his head, because he was shake and bake all day last year, right? Like any guy who got in front of him, he'd do that hezzy. Where's the hezzy at? Where's the step back
Not
at?
there.
And that's where I think you were asking, like, what's the one thing that Jordan Poole needs to do better? I think it's easy to say defense. For me, it's get your charisma back. Now, if that means confidence, if that means free-flowing style, if that means just shooting yourself back into feeling good, I don't know what that means, but the charismatic character that I saw last year, they really miss his energy.
We saw it a little bit in Detroit a couple Sundays ago where he scored 12 points in 52 seconds and had a monster game, had a 30-burger in that one. And then since then, you play Miami, you play Orlando, you play New Orleans, and of course you play Sacramento on Monday, and he struggled over those last 4 games. It's a little slump right now. I believe Jordan Poole will figure it out. When he's in the gym after the Sacramento game, when Bob Myers is talking to Steiny and Goo, and Bob Myers is saying, well, he was here this morning on an off day. That gives me confidence in Jordan Poole that he will figure it out. Now, the league has adjusted to him. He's got to counter. He's got to adjust back. I think he will be okay. I feel like he will be okay. You look at his last 4 games, though, it has been ugly. 11 points a game, 4.5 assists. He's shooting 23.5% from the three-point line, 23.5% from the three-point line, 29% from the floor.
What's his free
throw? This guy's not even in the 30s, and his free throws is at 81%.
81?
We're talking about a guy who beat Steph Curry last year. This guy is shooting under 30% from 3 and the floor in the last 4 games. Over dribbling, turnovers. You see the 3 balls not hitting. He's 5 of 24 from the 3 ball over the last 4 games. He will be better. He'll be better. I do believe that. Now, they got to figure it out. They got to get him unlocked here. They go over dribbling. Maybe you bring him in a little earlier. Maybe you bring him in a little later. I have no idea how you unlock him. But he is getting teams' best shot from opposing defenders because they know Jordan Poole's one of the only guys who can get to the cup at will against defenses. His speed, his athleticism on a team that's not that athletic, they need him. But other teams know that.
I've been thinking a lot about him playing with the second unit. And I was thinking of like, what are some of my favorite Jordan Poole plays last year? And a lot of it is him driving to the cup or him stepping back and hitting threes. The other element that is just missing from his game, movement off ball, where someone else is passing to him. And I do believe that second unit, one of the underrated things as we scream from the high heavens about defense, which is totally fair, no one's passing him the ball and no one's screen setting away from the ball. And so he's not getting those looks. Remember when the ball would kind of kick around and then here comes Jordan flying off of a screen and catch and shoot? Boy, it'd be nice to get him some catch and shoot threes where he doesn't even have to dribble.
Yeah. Well, that's playing with Stephen Curry, right? Or that's playing with a backup point guard.
But even Bielitsa got him a couple of good looks. Like, I just don't know if they have the person.
Bielitsa was an underrated passer.
Are you joking or are you being serious?
No, he was an underrated passer.
He was. I thought he was a good passer, you know? But also I also thought that like Otto Porter would set good screens and also help space the floor for him a little better. And I don't know, they need to get him going somehow. To me, I think if he can unlock himself, a lot of other chips are going to fall in place.
No doubt. I think so too. And then you got the Klay Thompson component. I think it's just patience for Klay Thompson. Jamo Malalele have joined Willard and Dibbs, what was that? Wednesday. He basically said, look, 10 to 15 games in, we're at game 12 now. Klay's missed 2 of the games. He believes Klay will work off the rust within that 10 to 15 game range. So we're right there at 10 games for Klay. I think we will. He's getting open looks. They're not falling. Some of them are short. Maybe he needs to take more mid-range games or mid-range shots.
Yeah, one dribble in.
Pull up, dribble, pull up, boom. 20 feet, 18 feet. 15 feet, and he'll get going. I'm not worried too much about Klay. Defensively, we know at this point, he's not guarding Donovan Mitchell. He's not guarding Damian Lillard. He's not guarding James Harden. He's not guarding the quick guards, the Kyrie Irvings. He's got to guard more 3s, 4s, and maybe even 5s because of that great lower body strength that he has. The foot speed's not there. The lateral movement not there right now. At times, he could defend at a high level. We saw it against Devin Booker at times in that third quarter. But consistently, he's not going to be that defender again, and that's okay. Got Wiggins. Curry's going to have to step up defensively. Other guys going to have to step up defensively. Jordan Poole, for crying out loud, has to step up defensively.
Yeah, they need a win tonight.
It's a big game.
This is a really big game, and I think that you win tonight. That's 2 games in a row. You start to feel good. You close that gap on getting closer to 500, and the form is going to fall into place. Winning is a great deodorant right now. Even if they're not defending at a high level, find a way to win the game and make people feel better. And, I don't know if Steph can sustain the run that he's on right now, B. I mean, he's going to have a bad night at some point.
8 30-point nights in 10 games for Steph Curry.
It's asking a lot for an early season run, He's
on fire right now, no doubt.
I know, and this one feels big tonight. I'm worried.
Don't be worried. Don't do that.
I know.
Don't be worried. We're 11 games in.
I know, but B.
Don't be worried. Don't be worried.
They can't be under 500 to end the month of November.
They might. They just might. They just might. I mean, they just might. No need to be worried, though.
So if they're under 500 around Christmas, you're not worried?
If they're 500 around Christmas, that's when you start looking at trades. That's when you start looking, okay, we need to fix something up. We need to switch something up. We need to tinker. And I'm not talking about with one of the big boys. It's probably with the bench. But this is a championship team. And I wouldn't be worried if they were the 6th seed in the West. I would not be worried because I know I got Steph. I know I got Draymond, who, by the way, is playing at a high level. He's playing at a high level right now. I know I got Andrew Wiggins, who got that postseason experience last year. So I would be concerned around the All-Star break because then I would think to myself, all right, it's time to make a move. We've seen this for a couple months now. It's not working. All right, let's roll. Let's roll. But I'm not panicking right now. It's November 11th.
I understand that. Last year, just to your point about the 6th seed, the Denver Nuggets were 48-34. That was the 6th seed. 48-34. Now, to give you some perspective, Timberwolves, Pelicans, Clippers, and then Spurs. Spurs were 34-48 as the 10th seed. Right? That's the play-in status.
Right.
That's the bottom of it. The top end of it is 46-36.
Yep.
Okay, that's 10 games over 500. So I'm looking at this team right now, and they're 3 games under.
3 games under, 4-7.
I mean, you're looking at, you got to have at least, 45 to 50 wins?
45 to 50.
They're going to have to go on a pretty nice tear here.
Yeah, they do what the Celtics did last year. They started off very slow.
So I'm looking at the Celtics here, and the Celtics ended up winning 51 games last year.
They started off very slow.
Yeah.
When the Warriors played them in early January, remember, they were under 500. Mm-hmm. They had the players-only meeting. They had a team meeting. Next thing you know, they went on one.
That is true, but I look at their 6th seed, and then obviously they were a little more stacked at the bottom. They weren't top-heavy. Same thing. Their 6th seed, 46 and 36. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at somewhere around 46, 50 games. 45, 50 games that you got to win to get into that 6th seed. They're going to have to go on a nice little run here.
But I'm looking at other teams like the Mavericks last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're 6 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to the Wizards last night.
Yes.
Is Portland really going to stay up there?
No, I don't.
I smell fraudulence from the Portland Trailblazers. Now Utah's going to be a tough. They're playing well as a team.
Well, the thing I think we underrated with Utah is I look at them and how they're constructed.
Right.
There's a lot of guys that have been on 2-3 teams that are out to prove something this year.
Prove something, and they play good team ball.
I don't believe for them in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely not. You need a star player.
But for right now, they're out to prove something. Lauri Markkanen is playing at an all-star level, 23 points a game.
He is. Let's go to Richie Rich. Richie Rich in Livermore. Richie Rich, what's happening on this Friday?
What's up, fella? Richie Rich. I just got a quick story for you guys, real quick. Check it out, Shaz. So, homeboy said he was kind of bitter at Willie Mays for no autograph, right? So, 1999, right? My best friend's neighbor is Julian Tavares. Remember, relief pitcher for the Giants?
Oh, yeah, Julian Tavares. He used to always hit people.
Yeah, but Benito and him used to call each other Scarface.
Yeah, he looked like Freddy Krueger.
That's him. Looked like Freddy Krueger. So, from Dominican Republic. So, my best friend, he's his neighbor, right there. I grew up in San Mateo, right there off of Hillsdale Boulevard, right before line of Foster City. So, anyhow, we go to he'd take us to the games with him, right? We're in 7th grade. We're going to Burrell Middle School. So, we're going to the games with him and his hot wife. Check it out. So, we go to a game. Bonds hits 2 jacks, right? And he'd give us balls to get autographed all the time after the game. We'd be in the locker room with them. So we're sitting there excited thinking, all right, we're going to get this guy's autograph finally. And he's walking out. You remember Candlestick Park on the west side? Their locker room went directly out to the parking lot where the player vehicles were.
Yep.
So we kind of got kicked out of the locker room that day because we were like trying Julian's jacket on and whatnot, and they didn't like it. But anyhow, Bonds is coming out. I hand him the ball, sign it. And he looks at me and just walks past me and just dogs me out, right? And I'm like, oh, my God, shattered my heart. Well, here comes Dusty Baker, about to get into his Durango, and he looks at me and goes, here you go, kid. Takes the ball and signs it right there for me and just totally brought me back to life. It was awesome, dude. And
Dusty.
I just remember that story because homeboy was bitter about Willie, and I never was bitter about Bonds. I just figured these guys always got to deal with this kind of stuff, you know what I mean? But a story that I'll never forget, man. That year, 99, as a kid, I probably went to about 20 games with Tavares in his car, and it was the most awesomest thing ever, man.
Wow, that's awesome.
Guys, hey,
do you remember? I was going to ask you. Do you remember?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you remember when you went to Candlestick? They had this rewards card, and you'd slide the rewards card, and then you'd go to one of their little tables, like the booths, the kiosks, and you'd get something based on how many games you went to. Remember that?
You went to? Yeah, I do, man. Absolutely. Those are the days, let me tell you.
Yeah, they really were. I remember that. I got towels. I had, remember those little, you turn them upside down. I think they do them now in ice cream bowls, but you get the little helmet that they throw nachos into.
Yeah, the helmet.
They give away all kinds of cool stuff like that.
Yeah, ice cream, nachos, everything. Look, the autograph thing, where people feel like they get stiffed and they get angry and they have a grudge against the player forever. I never got that. Because, the part where you're angry because you didn't get an autograph. You know how many times I've been stiff? Hey, can you sign my ball? I realize they're pro ballers. They're busy, even as a kid. I remember waiting in the parking lot in Candlestick Park. Barry Bonds zoomed past me. I didn't care. I thought it was actually kind of cool. I was like, damn, that's Barry right there. I was just happy to see him. Don Baylor one time pulled over side of baseball for me in that parking lot. Robbie Thompson. But outside of that, when people get angry about getting stiff for an autograph, I look at it from the other ways. These players have so many demands. I see Steph Curry. We saw the Jordan doc with all the media and everybody following him. You got to do that all day long. Sometimes you want a break. Sometimes we leave NBC and there's people waiting for Mully. And Mully would sit there and sign every single autograph. But that gets exhausting.
Yes.
But for the fact that one person, he stiffed me to sign my, get over it.
Well, I guess the way I would put it is this. The new, sign my autograph is the selfie, right? That's what people want. They want the selfie nowadays or whatever, the photo op with someone. I've always been a big believer in, I don't really like the autograph thing. I like the moment. Shake someone's hand. Yeah. Hey, you meant a lot to me for X, Y, and Z reasons. Thank you for the memories. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the moment. Like, that's the way I was kind of brought up. The autograph was like, I don't really get it. Like, you got a name on a piece of paper.
Yeah, I don't. And you're mad if he doesn't sign it. Like, that's kind of weak.
Here's the other part of that is that 9 times out of 10, they'll send the little kid there, and it's really for the dad, so the dad can sell it on eBay or whatever. That's the part that I think is really weak.
That is weak.
But I know there are people out there that are like, they like to collect and they like to get certain things with people's autographs on them or whatever.
Oh my God, you just saw my ball. I hope you go 5 for 25 the next game.
Well, that's ridiculous.
That to me is weak. And that's where Mad Dog's saying, well, I am mad he stiffed me for the autograph. We just saw Willie Mays playing stickball with kids and taking them to go get ice cream. Relax, dude. Relax. Like, Russo, you're in your 60s. Like, you're still holding a grudge for that? Jeez.